Hello there guys, it's me, Unstable Voltage, and welcome back to episode 8 of Europa Universalis IV. We are playing as France. We've actually gone and finished that coalition war that we had with Austria, which is a very good thing for us as we go ahead and gain the CB against Aragon. But I don't think it's a good time to be going and starting a war with anybody right now. We still have a massive number of mercenary units in our army, which is going to be costing us a little bit of money. So I am going to go ahead and cull a few of those just to save us a little bit more money. At the same time, I'm also going to start recruiting, whenever I can afford it, a few men from our own manpower pool. Obviously, at all times, trying to make sure that we stay above 1/4 of our maximum manpower so that we don't end up with a sort of peasants' war. One thing that does concern me at the moment is there's a lot of these Flemish nationalists over there, and it's quite possible that they could come across the borders. I have seen it happen before, and that does cause me quite a bit of concern, especially as Flanders considers this to be part of their core, and there are Burgundian cores over here. What's the weight limit in Calais, actually? Actually got a supply limit of 26. Can I afford to put my maintenance up? Yes, I can actually put my maintenance up to max at the moment. So I think I'm actually going to move this army and put it up into Calais, just in case those guys get any ideas about coming over. They could move into Picardy, of course, which is a possibility. It doesn't look like Burgundy's doing anything to get rid of their rebels, which is a little bit of a pain. Let's keep moving these guys in as well. So the main thing that we're going to have to do is rebuild France up. And it is going to take a while, of course, because France does start with a lot of these, you know, sort of broken provinces. Military access from Austria. No, go screw yourselves. But at least we don't have a coalition against us anymore, and we will very, very slowly start to rebuild France. We'll get all of these provinces put back together, and everything will work out. Let's go ahead and get another infantry unit in that province over there. Ah, they've actually gone over to the east. So I've seen it happen in a previous game, because these Flemish nationalists always pop up, and I've actually had them cross the border before, and that's what was concerning me. And the problem with them is that because I'm behind on military tech and they're nationalists, they're actually going to be quite difficult to beat. So I'm glad that they've actually gone off to siege out a little bit of Burgundy. And that's good. If they want to go over to Burgundy and cause Burgundy some problems, that's fine. I don't know why these guys don't appear to look like they're sieging anything out, which is a little bit weird. But Burgundy are just sort of completely ignoring them at the moment. Let's go ahead and group those back together. We are going to have to get our loans paid off as soon as we can. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, we are still collecting from there. Obviously, once we start getting our tech up, we'll be able to get a little bit more sort of trade power in these nodes, and we'll be able to get a little bit more money. Are we currently overextended in any way? I don't think we are. No, we don't have any overextension at all right now. So we actually have enough military power to go ahead and get another idea, but we're not going to do that. We're actually going to save our military power and get the next military tech level. Burgundy are actually already at level 5, and we're currently still at level 3. England are at level 3, which is very, very interesting. Austria are at level 4, so we definitely want to make sure that we get up to at least level 4. Now, this is probably why these rebels would end up being so tough, because they're nationalists. They should be using the same military tech group that Burgundy are using. So these are going to be military rank 5 or military tech 5. We're only military tech 3. So it would be quite bad if that happened. Speaking of tech, how much do we need to go up to that? Still 466. We are actually behind time, so we'll go and do that as quick as possible. And we'll keep out of wars for a little bit. This is one of the things that... Let's keep my eye on these guys. This is one of the things that can make... where have you come from? Nevers. So what did we get up to in Nevers? Yeah, they still have a hostile attitude towards us. So we could go and conquer them when the truce is up. We probably will. We'll just have to keep our eye on it and make sure we jump in as soon as that Well, actually, again, it doesn't make a lot of difference because of the changes in Art of War. I was going to say what we should do is make sure as soon as the truce ends, we declare war on them before they can ally with somebody. But the point is they could ally with somebody even after the war has started and still call them in. So we do have to be careful there. So we can either lose 100 Diplo power or we can lose 1 stability. Well, I don't want to lose the stability. 100 Diplo power is quite a lot, especially as we are behind on our Diplo reputations. But Diplo tech is one of the least important techs at the moment. And yes, we do need our Diplo power for doing things like annexing our vassals, but we should recover it at a rate quickly enough to do that. As soon as we manage to get one of these provinces annexed as well, or one of these vassals annexed, it'll be one less relation to worry about, and everything will recover. Just keeping my eye on Burgundy, because I noticed they have just moved a stack of troops through into Bourgogne. I'm very surprised that they haven't actually moved their capital, considering that this place is completely cut off. And would you look at that? Flanders has actually managed to take a massive chunk out of Burgundy. So that's why I was sitting in Calais, because of that Flanders Corps. So these guys actually have a hostile attitude towards us, which is hardly surprising. They have a truce with Burgundy. They've got a Reconquest CB against myself. I could actually go in there and attack them. They are still military tech level 4, though. So going ahead and attacking those guys right now would be a stupid idea. But that'd be a really, really good way of being able to go in and take some additional territory. We could go in and take Artois there quite nicely. And that breaks Burgundy up. And that makes me really, really happy, because Burgundy are one of the big problems that France does have to deal with in this game. We've got a few loans coming due, so I'm not going to build any more units for the time being. I do want to try and get out of our debt if we can, although saying that, we could potentially go ahead and get rid of a few more units. We do have enough. Actually, is that an admin tech? That's actually an admin tech. We're going to go ahead and take that because we now are ahead of time on admin tech. Allows us to build temples, but because we're actually ahead of time, it gives us a plus 20% production efficiency bonus. So that is going to mean that we will make more gold per month. So that is a very, very good thing for us to happen. So yeah, Burgundy moved a big stack of their army over here. Now, are these guys allied with anybody? They're not, but they are improving their relations with Austria. Now, what's our current aggressive expansion with Austria right now? Though there is a massive truce with Austria, so they're not going to be able to do an awful lot for a while. Yeah, we still have 24 aggressive expansion against Austria. So it might be worth just coming in, fighting these guys, and just trying to annex one single province. Although they do have a 5-shock general in there, which is actually very, very good. And until I'm at least, well, I can get military tech 4 now, but I would say until I'm at least military tech 4, there's absolutely no point in going after those guys. And ideally, I want to be military tech 5. But I'm just happy that it's actually split Burgundy up a little bit. If we go ahead and have a look at the region map mode. So the France region is this sort of salmon pink colour, and this is the is that all just classed as Flanders? Yeah. So it's not actually, Artois isn't actually in our region. I mean, we certainly could take it, and it would be nice to get some of these coastal provinces up here, but we don't really need to take it. I mean, there isn't really a national decision as France to sort of form France as is, so we don't have to worry too much about taking specific provinces, but obviously we do want to make sure that we cut Provence down to size and annex a few of our vassals where we can. I don't think we can actually where's annexation? Yeah, still need 190, so it will take a little bit of time to actually get enough reputation with our vassals to start annexing them, but we certainly will do. And we are ahead of time now in military tech, so it will take quite a while to actually go ahead and get a high enough tech before we think about attacking those guys. So let's go ahead and see what improvements we can build. We could build some temples, which would increase our tax income. We can't actually build, or we can build some armories actually. We should definitely go ahead and build some armories. So we'll go ahead and build one in Ile-de-France, because that will give us an extra 37 manpower. So as you can see, The white number tells you what you're getting, and the green number tells you how much extra you get in that province. Now, some provinces will give you more or less than others because they may have an unaccepted culture. So this one, for instance, would only give us +9. And if we actually go ahead and look over here at this province, I always click the wrong button. It is actually Burgundian, which is an accepted culture, but because it isn't our culture, and because they have a lot of unrest, and they have a lot of local autonomy, we wouldn't get nearly as much manpower from them as we would from some of the other provinces. Provincial unrest, there's going to be quite a bit of that, mostly in French Comté. Now, why do they have so much provincial unrest? Because it's unlawful territory and because of nationalism. We can go ahead and give them a little bit more local autonomy. It will keep the unrest down. It's a little bit of a pain that I have to do that, but at least I've actually got that particular province. I am remembering back to my last game as France, and I pretty much lost this in a very early war to Austria, and it was almost impossible for me to take it back. Austria was just being a complete nightmare almost the entire way through. Not too sure if there's anyone else worth sucking up to. We'll keep things going with Burgundy. Do we actually have a vassalization with Burgundy? We don't have high enough relations right now. Let's go ahead and start improving relations with Brittany, even. I'll get it right in a moment. They are actually allied with Austria, which is a little bit of a pain. So we are going to really have to diplo and annex Brittany if we want to get them. They are also currently in a couple of wars as well, against Denmark and the Crimea. So hopefully what we're going to do is get up high enough to be able to diplo vassalize them. We've got a free advisor slot, a military advisor. Definitely want to take a military advisor simply because we do need the military points. Again, this is all stuff that's going into costing us more money, which I prefer wasn't happening, but... So are these guys sieging? Is that actually Provence? Because the problem is with Provence at the moment is I can't actually... Yeah, Provence have just got black flagged. Maybe you've just finished one of your wars. You have. So you're now just the defender against Denmark. So you shouldn't have to worry too much about that particular war. So we've got lots and lots of people fabricating claims on our provinces, which always happens as France. And this is the problem when you've got a lot of good territory. You get a lot of other people wanting it. So, again, another really, really crappy event. We can either lose 1 stability or we can lose 50 prestige. Now, let's have a look at our prestige. I'd kind of like to keep the prestige. I've got a fair bit of admin power, but not enough to... Well, there might be enough to increase the stability, actually. And we are ahead on administrative tech. So, we'll lose the stability. And we will instantly go back in and boost that back up. It only costs us 90. So, it does cost... It is a real pain to lose administrative points, but it's better than losing the prestige because we don't have a huge amount. And as we're not going to be able to go to war for a little while, just to be safe, we're not going to get that prestige back at any time soon. So let's go ahead and unpause again. Still running at speed 3. Still being very careful what these Burgundian patriots are doing over here. A rebel uprising is quite possible. Burgundian patriots want to defect to Liege. Now, where are these guys? Doesn't say which. Gain 10 years of nationalism in province, but doesn't say which province it is. Ah, there we go. Liege would gain a corps on French Comté. French Comté to Liege. Oh, and Charolais as well. Charolais. So, yeah, we do really need to get rid of this stuff down here. We could go ahead and harsh treatment, but it is 50 military power, which is quite expensive. We could increase the local autonomy here again. That does help. We can't increase it any more over here. How long will it take for them... 24.5 years at the current rate. I think we're fine, and eventually the unlawful territory and nationalism from Austria will go away, and then French Comté should come back in line. I mean, we've got a core there. They are the correct religion, as is Charolais, so we should be okay. We will keep our eye on it, though. What are Brittany doing? Are Brittany sieging out? Are they in another war? The second Danish conquest... Right, let's have a look at this war. Let's look in the ledger under relations and current wars. So it's actually Denmark, Sweden and Norway. So basically it's Scandinavia versus Austria versus England. Well, half of these don't show up. And versus Brittany. So, no, Burgundy aren't actually involved in that war. So maybe they just have military access. Okay, that's fair enough. Just wanted to check. It is a good idea as France just to keep your eye on what is going on between all of your neighbours, because the last thing you want is having two small nations which you could potentially easily annex or easily vassalize, and then all of a sudden realising that one of them has gone to war with the other, and you've now got one massive nation that is too big to vassalize and going to be a pain to annex. So it is definitely worth keeping your eye on all of those. Relationship with Britain is actually going quite high. I would like to try and vassalize them if possible. Now, I do appreciate that would put me over my relations again, but given the fact that they've actually already got an alliance with Austria and Savoy, it's going to make it very, very difficult if I want to attack them. So I really, really do need to try and diplo-vassalize them. And that'll be useful then if we ever go up against Cow. As you can see, or Cow, however it's pronounced, are also being sucked up to by both England and Austria. So they're going to try and get their claws in over there, which is going to be a little bit problematic, but not the end of the world. So I could probably bump this up to speed 4, and I probably should do. We can gain some money or gain some prestige. We definitely need the money because of all these loans that we've got coming up. But I think before we do anything else as well, I'm going to go ahead over here. I'm going to take 1 regiment of cavalry and 1 regiment of infantry and just get rid of those, because again it will all help to save us money. And we will go ahead and build a couple of infantry and a cavalry. And we can probably afford to build ourselves another armory somewhere else. What would give us the most? Probably, well, 32 seems to be the highest. So that's all we can afford. Keeping our eye on this rebel uprising. 37.8 years is actually going down. Our general has died, which is a real pain. I don't think we need this guy up here now. We can actually move you back down to Ile-de-France. We can actually hire a free military leader, which is fine. We can actually have 2 generals. Problem with that is it does cost us military power to do so. So we're going to wait until we get into a war. There's no point hiring a general when you're not at war, because what basically happens is the general gets, you spend 50 military power to hire a general. He gets old and dies, and you've never used him in a war. So if a general dies and you're not at war, just wait until you go to war. There's absolutely no point getting one before that. Up to 180 positive reputation with Brittany, so hopefully very soon we'll be able to try and attempt to offer them vassalization. Now, this is one of those things with this game where I don't like running it at high speed, because if you do, it's very, very easy to miss stuff. I can see that these guys are actually now getting sieged out by Norway, which is a little bit of a pain. We're up to 186. And the problem with this game is that there's a lot of mechanics. Papal State has declared war on Ferrara. There's a lot of mechanics in EU4 that are designed to slow down the speed at which you can expand. You've got things like overextension, aggressive expansion, coalitions, diplomatic reputation if you're trying to diplo-vassalize various nations. And all of these different things slow down the rate at which you can expand. You can't just basically go and stomp over the entirety of Europe and take it all over. It doesn't work that way. And this means that there's often a lot of downtime where you're recovering from a war, or building up your forces for a war, or just trying to get your tech levels up, which you can't do that easily when you're at war. And this can make for some kind of boring periods in between the battles where you're just kind of speeding up the clock and waiting for things to happen, which is basically what's happening now. Ferrara, no, I don't want to give you military access. What I do want is to get good enough relations. That's as high relations as I can get from Brittany. So I'm going to recall the diplomat. Now, we can't send another diplomat for another month. Would they accept vassalization? At this moment in time, they actually wouldn't. And that's because of our tax base. That is a little bit of a shame. We've got a royal marriage. An alliance would help, but certainly still wouldn't give us enough. Oh no, we do have an alliance. That is a shame. However, if they do end up losing a province to Norway or something, that would actually make them smaller. And if we actually manage to core another vassal, annex another vassal or two, that will actually help things out. Now, what we could do is we could increase our... Well, that doesn't give you actual tax base. It works on base tax, so where building temples would actually give me additional tax income. It doesn't increase my base tax. However, if I actually annex vassals, annexing vassals will increase my base tax. So, a little disclaimer, one thing is worthy of note. I never said that I was all that good at EU4. Don't get me wrong, I know the mechanics relatively well, although there's quite a lot of mechanics to learn, and they do seem to bring up updates very, very often that change the mechanics around. However, I'm not necessarily all that good at the game. So don't expect any sort of, you know, sort of pro play from me. I see England are having a little bit of trouble with some rebels over there. That's quite interesting. So Brittany is still getting sieged out. They could actually call me into the war. I noticed that they haven't, but that's fine. Do I still have my truce with England? I do not. So I could quite easily redeclare war on them, but there's no point. Let's repay the loan. That's what I was waiting for. That's why I haven't been spending any money for a little while. Looks like that revolt has gone away, which is really nice to hear. Burgundy has been discovered fabricating a claim on the Meuse, which is absolutely fine. So we're going to try and play quite defensive for a little while. It would be nice to try and get military tech level 5. Burgundy is now actually up to military tech level 6. And Flanders is actually only 4. Now they do have an alliance with Savoy. And they have alliance with Bravia. Can we declare war on them? We don't have a CB against them. And Savoy would almost definitely come in. So we'll certainly leave that there. So we can either lose 33 prestige or we can lose 1 stability. We're getting a lot of crappy events as France at the moment. I think what we will do though is we will go in and we will attempt to fabricate a claim on Artois, just because it gives us an opportunity to try and take it later on if the need arises. Oh, look at that. Provence have rebels. Admittedly, it's only peasants, but I'm quite happy with that. If it splits their country up, it just makes it even easier for me to take. Now, one thing that I have... Oh, it looks like those guys have pieced out. One thing that I have noticed, particularly with the way that the AI plays France, it's usually quite slow in absorbing a lot of its cores. And what it normally does is it goes after things like Savoy and Milan and bits of Genoa, and then it eventually starts to soak in its cores. And it is quite a slow process. It does take a little while to get there. We can invest in a new technology. It's actually a Diplotech. We are a little bit behind on our Diplotech, so we are going to go ahead and take that. It would be nice, of course, if we could take a new idea group, because we are going to be behind on military power. Let's just have a quick look at everybody, see what military power's on. So we've got 6 over on Burgundy, 4 for England, 3 for Normandy, 4 for Brittany. We are, of course, at 4 now. Provence, what are you guys actually on? You're at 5, so we would like to get to 5. Austria's still at 4. So Burgundy are actually massively ahead in their military tech at the moment. We've been discovered fabricating this claim on Artois. That will give us a little bit of additional aggressive expansion, but we'll carry on doing it anyway. There's no point in stopping. Once you've been discovered, the damage is done, as it were. And I've still got some money that I could use to build additional things like armories, which I probably should go ahead and do. I would like to get temples everywhere, but armories are going to be really, really important for France because manpower is such an important thing. Of course, they are quite expensive, and I don't want to go ahead and spend all of my military power. We are going to try and get up to our force limit, which we will do by building our own units and getting rid of all of these mercenaries. But that's something that I'm going to do in the next video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Europa Universalis IV, and I'll see you in the next video. So until then, goodbye for now.